So today we're putting the Mk8 Golf R through its paces. I've come down to Silverstone to the German car festival where we're going to be getting it on the track. But not only that, Racing Line have also promised me a very special experience. My car is on their stand, but they've got another Golf which is a league above what mine is. It's a completely race prepared Mk7 TCR. And seeing as we've done some upgrades on my Mk8 R to make it a little bit more track friendly with bigger brakes, better suspension and better tyres, it would be nice to see the difference between that and what a fully blown race car is. It's going to be a showdown of the Golfs. We've got the Mk8 R versus the MK7 TCR, so that's going to be an interesting comparison. So I've now done my sign on and my briefing and everything like that, and I'm just about ready to rock. Check the tyre pressures there at like 38. They're a little bit lower than what they should be because they're going to heat up a bit on the track, and then they should level out to about where they need to be today, I think. There's only one way to tell. Now, annoyingly, I've got to swap this camera for a GoPro because you can't have a loose camera inside the car, but we'll get a few angles for you, see how good we can make it. So it looks like we've got some interesting cars in the session. Obviously, the Mk8 got an RS6, got a nice Porsche Carrera of some sort, an M240, M140i. I think there should be some interesting cars to have a little play with. Hopefully, I'm not getting overtook more than I'm overtaking. That's what I'm aiming for. Now, this isn't competitive and it's not even a track day, it's just a little bit of track time for fun, but I do want myself and the car to perform well. So all the cars were lined up.
Welcome around the world as we have 5 lights on and it's lights out and away we go.
Right, here we go. We're on the kind of warm-up safety car lap, just going to get a feel for everything, just going to catch up with the pack. I've never driven this track before, Tom, have you?
Yeah, I did it like a driving experience thing.
Alright. Oh, we've got rain, that's always good. Yeah. I think this car's got an advantage in the rain though. I think this is probably one of the better ones out in the rain. It's got fresh road tyres, 4-wheel drive, good brakes, not too fast. So with the least dramatic start to any track experience ever, we were away, but there was a huge problem in this because all of the cars were so bunched up, you couldn't really get any pace, and because of the rules of these sessions, you can only overtake on the left-hand side on a straight, not in braking zones or corners, so you're quite limited. This is riveting. I might just drop back, you know.
Yeah.
It's too bunched up. Porsche is well in the way. Oh, loads of rubber. So we finally managed to find a bit of clearer space on the track, and that's when we went for it foot down to chase one of these faster looking Golfs. Let's try to stick with that. And worryingly, as soon as that happened and I had a complete loss of power, there was a red flag being waved and fingers being pointed at me. Me? And I'm praying at this point that it's not something catastrophic. Well, my car broke quick. That was...
2 laps?
Yeah. So I took my car to Silverstone and it broke, is my new title. How does it happen? Like, I don't give this car, the car don't have an easy time on the road. That's happening here, isn't it? Now, did you know that some of the cars on this show actually crash? And you never know by looking at them. Just like this Mercedes C63. So I nearly swapped my Aston Martin Vantage for about a year ago. So this is how the car looked when I was proposed the swap. So it was a C63S, stage 2, wrapped in a kind of beige colour, and we wanted to do a straight swap for my Aston Martin. That is until I checked it out on Car Vertical, because it showed that this car has a green tick for mileage, a green tick for theft because it's not outstanding as stolen, it has a green tick for no outstanding finance, but it does have an amber warning light for accidents, but we did expect that. Now, in a lot of cases, if a car's been crashed, Car Vertical can show you photos of the damage that it's got stored from the auction sites. So you can see this C-Class has had a nasty front-end collision on the driver's side and set off the airbags too. But did you notice something about that car? That doesn't look like a C63S to me either. But there is some good news, the mileage does check out and there is no record of the car ever being stolen. But here's where things start getting juicy, because we can see from the damage report that this car has been written off 2 times. When I went to look at this car, it had everything that you'd expect to make it a C63S. It had the lovely C63S seats, it had all of the trims and specifications and everything you would expect on your C63S. But Car Vertical shows that this car is just a C63, it's not an S, which hugely affected the value, meaning this instantly wasn't worth trading my Aston Martin Vantage for. Now in some cases the seller may or may not be aware of these problems, so it's best to be safe rather than sorry and make sure you don't end up buying a car which is worth less than what you think it is. And to make sure that doesn't happen to you, make sure to use my discount code Chris and the link in the description of this video to save money off your Car Vertical report. So thank you Car Vertical for sponsoring this video, but now let's go and see what's up with my Golf. So straight away, 2 laps in, broken. Let me get my hat because I look stupid. So we got 2 laps round, got really bunched up on the track, and then as soon as I put my foot down, it's got a bit of open like track, boost pipe straight away. So if you come over here, we've got this one here, come closer. This boost pipe here, where it goes straight to the throttle body, which is probably the best one it could have been to be fair, I think, because if it was low down, then we would have had to jack it up, under tray off, and then try and sort it that way, but this is the only one that's high up, so hopefully it'll be an easy fix and we might be able to get back out later. Tom laughed at me for having these gloves, but saying thank you now,
What are you doing, gardening?
I don't know why you're doing this and not me. You're unstoppable, mate. You're an animal. That's what we need. Blue Point as well, the finest. Legend, thank you. It's strange how it's that one though, isn't it? That's the one I would have least expected. Yeah. So Tom got to work and got that boost pipe back onto the throttle body with my moral support, and fingers crossed we can get back out on track. Those are my good gloves. That's sensational. Fixed.
Now then, what happened?
All the racing line stuff that we put on the car, it all fell off.
Yeah. I saw you sitting there, and then I'm like, seeing him indicating, and then I saw you go around and come in.
Yeah, we just popped the boost pipe.
Oh.
But we've mechanicked it, we've fixed it, we're ready to go back out, so hopefully we've got some more sessions so I can go and pinch one.
They were just talking, right? So we're in a dealer conference, right? And they were just talking about you, mentioned it, right? They went, oh, there he is outside the window, he's just out there testing. And then, literally 2 minutes later, I see you pull in. I'm like,
I'm a liability. But funnily enough, it was the one onto the throttle body, so it's the only one I hadn't touched. Right. So it's VW's fault, not mine. Facts. Right, back on stand. Let's go see if we can get another session off the guys at racing line. We're ready to rock. Right, here is the plan of action. We've got to wait a bit longer before we can get the Golf back out on track. But before we do that, I'm going to have a quick walk around the show. M6. That is so much better than mine. Also loads better than mine, but nice wheels. Also better than mine. That's actually quite nice. Big want. Also gangster. Chunky AF. Nice colour. Meaty. But this by far is my favourite car of the show. How sick is that? And it's even got big old nodding dog. Just gangster, isn't it? What is it?
Mercedes-Benz.
It's a funny looking Porsche. It reminds me of a dog pissing. Interesting. Now this is an Audi RS3 LMS. This actually comes with a 2-litre 4-pot rather than the 5-pots like we used to in the RS cars, but I would love to build a road-going version of this if it's even possible. If you'd like to see it too, make sure you leave a comment in the comments section. I need that in my life. So here we go, second outing in the Golf after we've fixed the boost pipe. Hopefully this one goes a little bit better. What do you reckon, Tom?
Fingers crossed.
Apart from the drumming, it feels okay, isn't it? But it's still just as bad, do you think? It feels a bit smoother. So I did notice on this session there was definitely less grip on the track, and imagine due to chunks of rubber off the racing line. So when you're trying to get around people, you find yourself picking up a lot of the rubber on your tyres. Feels okay, man, I think. And this was definitely the better session out of the two. The track was a bit quieter and the cars out there seemed more consistent and just a little bit more generally clued up, probably excluding me. Now one difficulty I was having with the Golf R was with the gearbox, because even in the manual mode at the top of the revs it changes gear for you, but it doesn't change back down and keep you in higher RPMs. And all of that combined with the fact that you can't really hear the exhaust, is you sort of lose track of where you are in the RPM range and what gear you're in. So whilst you're concentrating on going around the track, it made it a challenge to be in the right gear. The traction control is really messing with it, but it's probably doing me a favour. But all in all, definitely a much more enjoyable session, and the boost pipe didn't pop off again. The only thing I would do if I was doing it again is jack the car up and just stiffen up that suspension a little bit because it was on its soft road setting. Tyres feel quite grippy though, now the temperature. I'm nowhere near like slamming the brakes either, to be fair. Well, I've got all sorts of warning lights on. Oh dear.
Bingo.
Out the corner. It is. There we go, sports fans. A Mk8 Golf R on track on Silverstone. Now, that is not it for my experience today because I've got the TCR Golf to go in, which should be, well, pretty special, I think. That should be really the big daddy compared to this round track especially. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and how that does, and I'm probably going to be sick. So we're going out the frying pan and into the fire. So this is the TCR Golf GTI. So this has been developed specifically, it's a VW car, actually it's not modified, for a specific race series. I don't know which one it is, so don't ask me, but what it has got is left-hand drive, which I completely forgot then. That's why I came around this side. Let's try again. Well, in short, it's basically a fully fledged race car. So we've got a digital dash, we've got all pedal boxes, full roll cage. How cool these door cards, by the way, which go around the roll cage. I like that. 2 bucket seats and, well, not much else. All of the stuff is on the steering wheel rather than having stalks and buttons around there. It's just, well, pretty mega in there. On top of that, it's got a full factory wide body kit, racing brakes and the APs on the front, some racing slicks as well. The engine isn't too mad. It's a fairly factory engine. I think it's got a few varying maps between like 280 and 350 horsepower, but in comparison to mine, well, it makes mine look boring, doesn't it? And let's not forget, obviously, the massive wing. Now, this is a front wheel drive car, so you think, why does it need a wing? Well, it's for lift off oversteer, I think, but on top of that, it looks sick. Let's go! It's quite that quiet, isn't it?
It's really quiet, to be honest. But that's mainly because in the UK we have to have a quieter on the race meetings that this one's sort of doing it. There is a louder exhaust you can get for it for the European stuff, but they never bother with it because it's just no point.
So I presume after it's clutch out, it's just on the top. So the driver of this car is a guy called Phil House, and let me tell you, this guy is an absolute lunatic. Now, I don't want to talk over this too much because I know some of you are going to love the whole sequential gearbox, straight cut gears thing, but this was a full-on experience. The speed of that sequential gearbox, the savageness of the brake, the grip in the slick tyres is like something I've never experienced before. What a car. What driving as well, sensational.
Thank you very much. For a chubby fat lad from Yorkshire.
Kill me. Well, what a day it's been at Silverstone. There's been ups, downs, sun, rain, the whole lot, but I've had a crazy time with the guys at Racing Line. Going around in my Golf, going around in the TCR as well is just another worldly experience. Mark Ash wants me to mention Awesome GTI because they're just the bollocks. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will catch you next time.